I am absolutely thrilled to have you joining me today. Paul Mason, also known as Fashion Santa. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really pleased.
Yeah, this is the busiest time of the year for you, I'm sure.
It is. This is like crunch time. There's not a minute, actually, not a minute that I haven't left the computer or being on a set or been on a location. So I don't really breathe through the month of December. I think I take little like gaps of air or something, but not really that much.
Yeah.
Not fully breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do know the origin story of Fashion Santa, but some of my readers or viewers might not. So can you just give us a little backstory?
Yeah. So I was modeling. I was a model in New York City for about 15 years. My mother unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer, and I moved back home to Toronto. And unfortunately, sadly, she passed away. And I think in my grief, I kind of took a year off. It was a big hit for me. I was very quite close with her.
Yeah.
So I took a year off, and in that year, I kind of grew a beard. I didn't even know I could grow a beard, and I grew this white gigantic beard. I mean, none of the males in my family have any facial hair, so I didn't have anything to go from. But I grew this beard, and I liked the way it looked, and I started noticing that I was getting a little bit of attention in the fashion scene again,
Ooh.
fashion business. I became the face of Toronto Men's Fashion Week.
Wow.
And I noticed that I was doing, after each show, I was doing a lot of selfies. And I thought to myself, well, what better way what could I do with this? So I created this. I look like Santa Claus. I am in fashion. So I put the two together, made a pitch, like put together some photos and things like that, and described how it could be a red carpet moment with Santa Claus, a new modern Santa. And I've been in the industry so long that I knew advertising, and I thought there could be a niche for something different, right? There could be something different. And I guess I pitched it to a few retailers, big retailers in Canada, a couple abroad, maybe in Japan, and a few in the States. And a retailer, the Yorkdale Mall in Toronto, picked it up. We did it 2014, I believe. It was quiet, but it was a nice. I think they won a few marketing awards, things like that. But in 2015, that's when it just exploded.
I know why.
It was. I think I'm not lying with this. I think about 2 billion impressions that Christmas, that holiday season.
Ooh.
And it was. We broke the internet. I mean, I remember just watching it all unfold in front of me, like country after country after news program after TV show after. It was just it was really remarkable.
Unbelievable. I think I'm one of the people that benefited you from breaking the internet. I saw the now infamous photo of you and Justin Bieber.
Oh yes.
And I've been dying to know, all these years I've been dying to know, was that a chance encounter or was it planned?
I think because I believe his family's from Stratford. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I believe he was coming into town for Christmas, for holidays, and maybe he had to do some last minute stuff at the Apple store.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it came about. The mall jumped on the chance, obviously. And I mean, I'd like to think too that maybe he wanted a selfie with the guy that just broke the internet for holiday. I mean,
hello, yes.
Yeah. So it came together. I had 100 people in line waiting for me at that point, because it's I guess it was such a big story that more people were coming out to see me, and so I left 100 people in line, went to an undisclosed location in the mall somewhere, and just kind of just said, this is what I'm doing. This is the initiative. And, there's this old guy like myself begging a kid to take a photo with me. But, he was gracious and unbelievable. He was really, really kind. And I took the phone, and I thought I was a master at taking selfies at that point, but I obviously wasn't, because he grabbed it in my hand and said, let me do it, because, this is not the way to do it. So I would surrender to that. I mean,
let him do it. Mm-hmm.
Justin Bieber, and I'm sure he's done enough selfies in his life, which I think he has. So
yeah, well, it was a good one. It was a good one. I really
it's one of the bigger ones. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you and I were talking ahead of this a little bit, and I mentioned that I am a social worker by profession, and I'm taking a little bit of time to explore some other things that I've always wanted to do, including, well, what we're doing right now. Um, and I know that you have at least a little bit of history in the field. Did you ever, I know you studied in for social work.
I never got my degree, and I
That's
kind of
what
was pulled. I was pulled right out of the course just by the fashion bug, by the whole. It just happened. I mean, I can't explain it.
Wow.
I got I think I was in my first year in. My second year was half a year, and that's when it happened. So,
Wow.
but once
Yeah, what did you plan to do as a social worker?
I don't know. I mean, I think, going in green and young, you look at it like your motivation is to help, to change things and I didn't know the layers of that job. And it's so open and vast where you can apply your skills.
Yes.
So I wasn't aware of that. So I mean, it's just I really didn't know. All I know, I had the baseline of just I also always felt I was a fortunate person anyway. And I don't know if it's just my upbringing or just, but I just always wanted to give back.
Yeah, well, and now you're doing it in a really different way, which I've
Yeah.
always thought is very cool. Like it kind of it happened just in a very unexpected and different way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think combine the Fashion Santa and the initiatives and the collaborations of bringing awareness to charities and those components. Yeah, it's another form of helping or just making a difference.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you can do both. And I've always been a little bit curious about so you mentioned you intended to be in the social work field, got pulled into modeling. How did that happen?
Well, because at Ryerson, I think they integrate sociology classes and psychology classes with my class was social work course, and we combined the class was combined. So the designers would see me, they would have presentations, and they'd ask me to walk. I've never walked in anything, and I think the second show that we did, I was discovered there.
Wow. Oh, I've always wanted to know that. I love
and a month later I was on the runway in Tokyo. My first trip out of the country. Never left Canada.
I just love stories like that. It just shows you never know where life is going to take you.
No, you never know.
You never know.
If you had asked me like
right.
10 years ago, would you be a Santa Claus? I would think you're crazy.
I love it. And so this is a funny thing for me. Over the pandemic and quarantine and everything, I've suddenly become much more fashion conscious in terms of knowing who the designers are and things like that. I've been studying. It's an odd turn of events for me too. But I've been curious, who are some of your favorite designers?
Oh, let me think. I mean, I've worked with a lot of them. Like I have worked with like Versace and Dolce & Gabbana and Moschino and Armani and Dior and yeah. I mean, I love Dior and but I mean, do I wear it? Not really, because it's quite expensive. But and Jill Sander, I like yeah. I'm not a big label person, but I love the quality I appreciate. And as I said, Hugo Boss has different labels and different lines, and there's like the Hugo Boss Black, and it's a more streamlined line. So I like that kind of thing. But yeah.
Awesome. And I know that you closed the Jean-Paul Gaultier show for Fashion Week 2020. I saw that. What was that experience like?
That was remarkable. I think it was right up there. It's maybe number one fashion experience I've ever had. And I was so fortunate to be able to land that. And I didn't have any clue that I'd be closing the show. I had no clue. And I didn't really understand how big the show was going to be. And it was incredible from start to finish. And then the pandemic happened right after.
That's what I was going to say, is that was right before the pandemic. And obviously you had this wonderful stage, you had this wonderful experience, and then everything changed. So again, I've been so curious to know how the pandemic affected you personally, but also professionally.
Well, I have to say it was a big challenge for me because, again, as we were speaking before recording, I'm not technically inclined
Don't
at
worry.
all. And as I said earlier,
Yeah.
I have this fancy light, and your picture is beautiful.
Oh,
Like
wow.
you look amazing. And here I have a blue light. I don't know why I have a blue light. I know there's a filter on it. So this is where the challenge that I had, and being in lockdown last season, it was really, really hard to try to reach out to everyone. You're limited. I was on my own
Yeah.
in lockdown, and so I had to do all those technical things on my own, and it was painstakingly long process. It was
Right.
just kind of but there was a good thing that came out of it. I, oddly enough, was able to design 4 holiday cards
I saw those. I bought them.
last year. Yeah, last year, and that was all done over Instagram. Just me and the illustrator direct messaging each other back and forth, tweaking this, changing that. And so that's a really true, like that's a real true pandemic story, that the cards were like kind of came to life through that.
Those are
So
beautiful. I did buy
mm,
I bought the series. Are they still available this year?
yeah, they're late coming up. I'm kind of a little bit late, obviously. A lot's been going on because I moved to New York, and there's a lot of things going on. So yes, they will, and I think they're going to be up and running by the weekend. And I'm also, all the proceeds from those cards go to sick kids, and now on board is the Children's Miracle Network in the States.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I think on my little debut show that we discussed before. Well, it's a big show, but
We'll
I think
get to it.
the cards will be featured.
Oh,
So I have to get my act together, and I'm also doing an evening. I'll tell you in a bit, with the Georgetown Lombardi unit, pediatric oncology night. We're raising money, and so I'm going in with the cards there too.
oh, good. Yeah, they're just such beautiful designs, and it's great. They're going to get a good boost this season, I think.
Yeah, and I wanted the character to look like a dandy, kind of quirky, kind of uncomfortable, kind of Santa that doesn't know how to do much
Yeah.
except be a really good guy,
Oh,
you
I
know.
love that.
And you'll see in the card he's skiing. He doesn't know how to ski.
Right.
He's like cut down this tree. It's just, and he's so. I love that he's kind of awkward looking, and it's like just exaggerated. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really, really proud, and I would love that to maybe translate into a book.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect. It's going to be
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, with just the illustrations alone, and
Yeah.
how like I just have many, many, many ideas of how I see this dandy, quirky Santa.
Oh, I love that. Oh, good. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you're in New York. Did you say you've moved to New York?
No, I'm here for the season, but potentially, probably, all goes well, I'll move back. Yeah,
Oh, you may move
yeah,
back. Okay. So,
yeah, yeah.
what has Fashion Santa been up to in New York City?
Well, because I don't know if it was because of the pandemic really affected, and I needed to change the brand a little bit or change the character. I needed something like a really powerful, strong backdrop, like to a visual backdrop. And what better is New York City at holiday, right?
Right.
So it was I think it was a good move. It's expensive, but it's I've kind of featured some of the iconic monuments, buildings, land, and I'm not done yet. There's a few other things up my sleeve that I've been shooting all around the city. So it's been really enjoyable because no one does holiday like New York City, and they just do it so well.
Yes.
You know, it's very dramatic. It's just that it's just over the top. And I just wanted that for myself and for my followers to have a like a different visual.
Yes. Well, because things are still a little bit, hmm, things are not fully back to life yet in Toronto, as you know. And so, yeah, I think you found the perfect place to sort of showcase the beauty of Christmas.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. And you know, I just it kind of ups the ante on the whole character, you
Yes.
know, a little bit. And then people have been I've been getting great comments and support, and people are saying, finally, you know, finally you're there,
Yes.
and which is really nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And well, let's get to it. It sounds like you've got some exciting things coming up.
Well, I was in and sitting in New York, and actually, I've been going back and forth a couple times to from Toronto to New York. I've had some events in Toronto. Um, I got an email requesting Ash and Santa to be on the Kelly Clarkson show.
Excuse me.
I almost fell off the chair,
Yeah.
right? And I was thinking, you know, oh God, I'm going down to going down to LA to meet Kelly Clarkson. I mean, it wasn't that quite that way. I mean, it was because we did it over Zoom, but I don't care. She was a delight, and so nice, so kind, and it's a great show. It's a really, really popular show. So I can't believe I'm actually going to debut on the show.
I'm like, I have chills. Just, I'm so excited for you. I'm bursting.
And we talked about where the concept came from. We also talked about my mom a little bit. We talked about Justin Bieber. We did.
Oh, you did?
And yes, we did. It's so funny that you mentioned him.
Yeah.
And it's a strong talking point that Justin Bieber shot.
Of course. You're probably like, oh, come on. Can we move?
No. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
Okay.
And we also talked about the cards. So the holiday cards. So fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. You know, it's going to debut soon. So
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
one thing I know for sure is that whenever people see you or hear about you, they are smitten. So I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I'm pleased. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I
Okay.
think so. I'll just say it for you. You're gonna be
Okay. Okay.
fine. So one of the things that I do currently is I write a weekly newsletter, and it's about all my celebrity, fashion, entertainment obsessions. I was curious, what are some of your, do you have any celebrity obsessions? What are they? Who are they?
It's really funny, celebrity obsessions. You know, I can name a few people, I guess, if I would like, you know, I'm intrigued by, you know, Angelina Jolie. I'm intrigued by
Oh,
her. I mean, like I find her intriguing. And then there's, you know, the iconic kind of celebrities that are gone, you know, you know, the old era, golden era of Hollywood.
of course. Who are
Yeah,
some of your favorites?
I think, you know, there's obviously Cary Grant, and, you know, Betty Davis, and I would think James Dean, and, you know, Gregory Peck. All these
Yeah.
great actors, and you know, uh, but I don't think obsession. I mean, I think I just love. I'm a visual person, so
Yes.
any of them that do anything on a visual artistic front, I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
But obsession, I don't know why. Do you have someone that you're obsessed
Oh,
with?
maybe. People who know me are going to laugh at that question. Yes, I have a lot of celebrity obsessions.
Okay.
But I would say it's more about, I just really, I admire very highly creative people, right? And so I
Mm.
think the people who are able to seize their own creativity and project it in a very big way, that's what appeals to me. I just love that people find that within themselves.
Right, and I've been fortunate to actually be part of something like that every time I would go to work. I mean, not every time, but I mean, a lot of times the artistic collaboration between makeup artist, stylist, model, photographer. That's four big artistic kind of creative people in the room, and the outcome can be fantastic. So, and then to translate this into Fashion Santa, I mean, it's the sky's the limit with the creativity that we could do when, when you put all those kind of creative ideas out there. And,
Absolutely.
so I'm like in heaven, actually, just being this guy
Yes.
and, seeing the next step and what the next step after that will be. And the creative process is just like one of the most important things. I'm just really thrilled about it.
Yeah, what I've noticed in your work, and this is again going back to what I like about celebrity or entertainment stuff, is the ability to bring the spirit of a person forward. And I really see that in your work. It shines through. I think that's what makes you special. That's what
I don't know. I think that again, I mean, I've created something that has been embraced,
Yeah.
and the people, like the public, they like it, and it's thrilling to me to have that kind of acknowledgement where it's a positive move, and because you don't really mess with iconic Santa Claus, like you really don't mess with them.
But you
So,
you have, and you've done it well.
well, I've done some things that I'm proud of, yes, and so I mean I tread lightly. Let's put it this way,
Okay.
because I don't want to rattle anyone. So
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, you've had to pivot in your career given different circumstances. And I'm sort of in a pivot myself, and so are some other people that I know. What advice do you have for people who are looking at a pivot or in the middle of a pivot?
well, I think that a pivot to me is a positive move. I don't look at it as a negative move,
Mhm.
and I know it's scary, and I know it's a fear. There's a lot of fear there, but I also look at regret too, and I think that you have a long time to think about where your life's gone and how fast it goes, though.
Yes.
Time is just ticking, and I would rather take the chance than have the regret. And I think that's pivot from one thing. And the beauty of what we're doing now, no one really stays in anything that long, I don't believe, anymore. Unless it's the world is changing so fast, and we're all having to adapt. So it's just like and you're going forward. I believe. I think it's not, you're not regressing. I think you're going forward and projecting. So I'm fearless.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't guessed,
Yeah, like you
I
go
just
for it. Yeah.
I just picked up and went to New York with nothing in sight, except knowing that it's a remarkable place for holidays. So
Yes.
that's so I'm a big champion of pivoting, for sure.
Yeah, I admire that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It is very helpful. And I kind of like you said, I just knew it from watching what you do. I knew that you would be a champion of that.
Well, thank you. I mean, I didn't, but I thank you for that. I also couldn't probably live with myself if I didn't try. And I think trying, is something that we all have to give ourselves credit for. And if we fail, you fail, but at least you tried, and pick up and start again.
Yeah.
And I don't think there is ageism, but I mean, I don't believe in it. So
That's right. I mean, I've already got trapped in it mentally from a few things people have said, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to believe it.
no, that's one thing that I've noticed through my whole career, is that I usually have blinders on and I don't listen to the chatter. I'm kind of in my own head, my own bubble. So there's no room for anyone else's voice in this noggin of mine. So, but no, it's helped me a lot to be focused, and because you don't know the motivation behind people's comments and what they're about. I think just keep your blinders on and keep going forward.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I know that the people reading will appreciate that as well.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Now, I want to give you a chance to, talk a little bit more about your charities and how people can donate or what they can do to get involved.
So this year I'm going out to Georgetown University, the Lombardi Pediatric Oncology Unit. We're doing a night for the donors, where it's just a night of come in, holiday greeting with Fashion Santa. And so I'm thrilled about that because it gets me back in the seat of charity work and, you know, awareness, bringing awareness. So I'm thrilled about that. The cards will be available, and all the proceeds after printing go to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto and Children's Miracle Network in the States. So that's what's mostly going on right now. I mean, I've been involved with everything from heart and stroke to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, to different hospices and other cancer research and cancer resource centers in Waterloo, Kitchener-Waterloo. So, I mean, because I'm here, it's been hard and it's also been hard to get a group together to have a night where Fashion Santa can do photos because of the restrictions placed on us with COVID.
That's
So
yeah.
it's been a little bit of a challenge. I think the Georgetown appearance is going to be limited, so we couldn't open it up to the public so much.
Right. Yeah. I wondered how, the COVID restrictions would be affecting your ability to meet people in person this year, but it sounds like you're finding some ways.
Yeah, again, because we were in lockdown, and you know, the cards were the only way last year that I could actually generate anything for charity. So this year, it's nice to get back into it and do an event and, you know, promote what they're doing at Lombardi, which is remarkable. And yeah, I mean, and after the Kelly show, who knows what's going to happen?
Right. I think a lot of things are going to open up after that. Yeah.
I hope.
I'm pretty sure they will. Yeah. And I guess I've been curious, what will you be doing for the holidays?
Well, I don't know what date I'm actually getting back home. Usually on Christmas Day, I team up with a non-for-profit called Heroes in Black. And what they do, they meet Christmas morning, we meet at City Hall, and we go out and disperse all kinds of things, socks, gloves, toothbrushes, to all the homeless that are on the street that day.
Yeah.
So we do that. That's early in the morning on Christmas Day. I might be doing something here with another initiative, but I'm not clear. Okay. I'll be sleeping. How's that?
Yes.
After.
Get some rest after your big trip around the world.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
You deserve it.
That would be great, you know, in my jet going around whatever. But
well, I am just thrilled to have had the chance to chat with you and catch up on what Fashion Santa has been up to these days, but also to get to know a little bit about Paul Mason as well. You're a good combo, you and Fashion Santa.
Yeah, he's a better guy.
And it sounds like you've got a lot of really thrilling things coming up, and I'm happy for you because I know last year was probably quite rough. And
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was a real challenge. And I have a cover coming out. I'm a cover of a magazine, Swagger.
Oh,
the men's. Yeah, it's coming. It's going to drop. I say drop because that's the term now.
I know.
It's gonna drop any day now, and I'm really thrilled. It's a take on Good Santa, Bad Santa. So it's a red and like two different images on the cover. So that's one other thing that I'm just happy about that came out this year.
Oh, well, I'll obviously be looking for it. We'll all be looking for it. And I wish you a very happy holidays.
You too, and I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for inviting me on. And like I said, I mean, life brings you all kinds of things, and I think we just have to grab the ring.
Thank you.